One of the greatest catalysts in my male self-improvement journey was starting a business. And ever since I was 16, I've tried everything to improve my life. And when I was 16, I was this really skinny, actually no, I was like this fat Asian kid in a all-white suburban neighborhood in school, to where there was only 5 or less other Asian kids in school, and I was really fat, and I was very smart, like most Asian kids are. Like, I excelled in my grades, and people just knew me as the fat, smart kid in school. And the reality was, when you're a fat, smart kid, people came to you for homework, but when it comes to girls talking to you, all those things, like pretty girls only talk to you if they need help with their homework. And so back then, I had a dark reality that I felt like girls would only talk to me if I was smart, if I did excel in my grades. And I saw all these other guys get girls because they were more fit, they were more outgoing, and I had none of these things because I was just good at school. My parents didn't let me socialize or hang out with any of my friends outside of school. And although was doing well in school, it was an arbitrary measure of my life as a man, or as a boy at the time. It's a very arbitrary measure that, oh, maybe I have good grades. Maybe, years from now, I'm going to have a high-paying job, and all these guys, they'll regret what they did. I didn't want that. I couldn't live for the rest of the next, what was I, like 15, 16 at the time. I didn't want to spend the next 3-4 years like what I've been living like the past couple of years as the fat but smart Asian kid in school, right? And so the first thing that I did is I went to YouTube. For me, back then, before my parents didn't let me have like any iPhones or anything like that. The first thing that I had access to, the only thing that I had access to was I had books. I had books, and then I had YouTube, right? And so for books, I read a lot of books there's a couple books that I remember. There's the autobiography of Arnold Schwarzenegger. There was this book about persuasion. I'll Stop Talking When I'm Dead. It's like a book about persuasion, and then How to Win Friends and Influence People. These 3 books I remember that I read and made a great, profound impact on me. The biggest one was Arnold Schwarzenegger's book. And the reason I read these books, and I started reading books even more, I came from a background where I read a lot of books, so this fat, smart kid, of course. Well, if you're fat and smart, what are you going to do? Read books, right? And so I was smart because I read all these books. And I wanted to say, how do I use books to make a change in my life? How do I take the knowledge and take action? Or you can read all this content in the world, but you don't take any action, it's useless. And so back then I watched, that was when Tai Lopez came on the internet. Tai Lopez had this video ad where he has this Lamborghini in the background, all these bookshelves, and he says, here in my garage, I have this, blah, blah, blah Lamborghini, but even more impressive than Lamborghini is the bookshelves that I just put in for $10,000, $20,000. And so I binged Tai Lopez videos back then. I watched every single video, and the one thing that he actually said is, although he sold a course, I had no money at the time, is I took every actionable insight that he gave without buying the course. It's like I read all the books that he told me to read. So I read Arnold Schwarzenegger's autobiography. I read books on persuasion, how to influence people. And in the autobiography with Arnold Schwarzenegger, you had this guy who came from a very poor background in Austria, right? Overcome all these challenges to become a bodybuilder and came to America to later become a politician and Hollywood star. It was a story of the true American dream, that anyone of any background can come to America and succeed. And although I was a fat Asian kid at the time who was book smart, it gave me a motivation that I had every opportunity to become someone like this. And I'm not as big as Arnold Schwarzenegger now, obviously. But I learned that you can overcome anything in your life and become who you need to be if you have the right knowledge and the drive. And so the next thing beyond that is how to take action. And so I started bodybuilding. At the time, I watched YouTube to learn bodybuilding. I for me, the first thing I could learn was calisthenics. I watched like six-pack shortcuts. I literally did like a towel exercise over my head, even though it actually built no muscle. And so at the time, I watched all these YouTube videos, but the biggest obstacle that I ran into is my parents. Asian parents sometimes are the most stupidest people in the world, no matter how smart they are. They quite literally thought that lifting weights would make me short. Like, I'm already fat. I can't be short and fat. That'd be terrible. And so they wouldn't allow me to go to the gym. That wasn't going to stop me. I was not going to continue being the short, fat kid in school. I started learning calisthenics. So I convinced my parents to buy a pull-up bar. So they bought me a pull-up bar. And I thought, okay, like, let me just start getting on here and I pump pull-ups. Couldn't be furthest from the truth. Like, I couldn't even do one pull-up, much less even get my chin on the bar. Right? Like this fat kid with the stool, right? And getting on the bar like this. I'd use like a small Jacob's ladder to even get on the ladder. I was like this kid, like, oh, right? But it didn't discourage me. I knew that in this path to become better, I had to follow through these steps along the way. And so what I started doing first was negatives. I take this Jacob's ladder like a little bitch and get on there and do negatives every single day. And so my goal was I just need to be able to do one pull-up. And then later on, I would want to be able to do 10 pull-ups. So over the next, really 2 years, from like 16 to my senior year in high school, eventually my parents did let me go to the gym. I went to Lifetime Fitness with my friend, but my background was in calisthenics. So every day I would do pull-ups, push-ups. So every single day after school, immediately get back to school, I go into my routine. It was like I do some like push-ups, and then I do pull-ups in between. So I did negatives, and then I use assisted pull-ups with some rubber bands, and then I'll be able to do pull-ups, diamond push-ups, all these things. And I would try to do handstands as well. Anything that I could build myself without the gym. And eventually I did a lot of pull-ups. Like, I was able to do 7 to 10 pull-ups at a time, 10 reps at a time. And basically, I would try to pump out 100 pull-ups per day. Once I could start doing pull-ups consistently, it didn't matter if I was doing sets of 3 or 2. I told myself every single day I'm just going to do 100 pull-ups per day. And I would do 100 pull-ups like I am going to get big, right? To some degree. I did get big, but there were a lot of things that I lacked. My shoulders were really small. I had, great pull strength and grip strength, but when you use calisthenics, you couldn't really build your shoulders. And I don't have great genetics to where I just have massive shoulders, to where there's a lot of things lacking. So eventually I was able to go to the gym, and I started going to the gym. But during this time, I also started running track and cross country. So I lost all the weight. So I was no longer the fat kid. I had a six-pack in school. And even the kids still made fun of me. Literally in track, they literally made fun of me. Oh, this guy has a six-pack. What a try-hard. I'm like, bro, I'm no longer fat. I'm like, I don't understand. But I still ran faster than a lot of the kids. But I was on the varsity team for track and cross country. And so at the time, I used pain to my fuel. I watched David Goggins, all these Jocko Willink, all these hardcore self-improvement people, and I used fitness as my lever to get better. But I was still completely socially awkward in school. I quite literally still couldn't talk to girls, but I looked better. I had more confidence. So it was a step in the way, right? So I could start talking to girls to some remote degree, even though I was still completely socially awkward. And so I was fit now. So I had some, self-confidence in myself. So I ran CrossFit, ran track, had a six-pack. And so when I looked at it, I was completely socially awkward. And I ended up going to college at the time, and I had good grades and everything. But I used physical fitness, running, 12 miles at a time. I used pain and physical fitness to improve myself. And it really brought me to, it built the grit and the fitness and the values that I have in self-improvement that I have today. But it wasn't the vehicle that turned myself into the person that I am today. Fitness is a part of it. Fitness is a crucial part of the male improvement journey. You cannot improve as a male without mastering physical fitness. Being able to go to the gym every single day or do something active nearly every day and improve yourself, right? Build muscle mass, build grit, understand pain, be able to lift heavy weights, run fast, jump higher, fight people, and be okay. So in college, I started doing MMA. I had some friends who took me to kickboxing gyms, all those things. So I started MMA, which is a great next step beyond just physical fitness. as a freelancer, all these things. I went to college. I did some really, I did some internships. But after college, where I am today, I have a location freedom. I can be wherever I want. Currently in Budapest, Hungary. I've been to Dubai. I've been to South Africa. I've been to basically virtually any country that most people wish to go to. I have completely location freedom. There's a little bit fluctuation in my income. I make between $25,000 to $50,000 per month currently, but that's literally enough for me to do anything that I want virtually, except buy cars, and invest in real estate. I don't feel comfortable doing that yet. Maybe the next year or so I'll be able to do that. But I have location freedom, time freedom. I can wake up whatever I want, and basically do wherever I go, wherever I want. And with Asian parents, growing up with Asian parents and being really a nobody in school, being able to have this freedom while everyone else works 9 to 5, a cog in the machine, is a great feeling to have. But there are a lot of things to overcome, and the one thing that really, if there's one mechanism that built me to where I'm today, is I started an online business. I started an agency that totally removed me from the process. Because when you grow up in a very traditional household, they teach you that you have to get a job, and and you got to get a 6-figure salary as a doctor or engineer, and that's how you're going to progress in your life. But that actually just makes you a slave to the machine that America makes you, the capitalism machine in all these countries. You're literally a slave. Right? You go there, you show up, and you make your 6 figures, you go home, and you're depressed. You don't have any freedom. Freedom dictated by another man, right? That's stupid, right? The only, when you're 18 or older, when you're an adult, the only thing for the greatest male improvement journey is to go from a man who listens to another man for a paycheck to a person who has time and location freedom and can dictate what they want to do every single day. This is the greatest male improvement journey that you're going to face. And so I started an AI agency, and at the time I worked ridiculous hours. 12 to 16 hours per day. I want to sleep my 8 hours, sometimes even less. And I did that for 9 months to get to where I am. During this time, all of the traits that I learned before, right? I was good in school. I had discipline. I had good physical fitness. I was a freelance videographer. I knew how to hustle. All of these traits culminated into this final demon that I was facing, right? And the final demon was growing a business to escape the matrix. And all of the other things that I learned before, the Tai Lopez videos, the doing pull-ups as a fat kid, all these things allowed me to say, hey, I did all these things before. I had fought all these demons before. Doing this business is just naturally the next logical step in becoming the man that I want to be. And I can't stress how important it is as a man to not have to listen to someone else, for you to choose your own struggles. Because in order for you to improve, you have to choose your own struggles. You don't want your boss to choose your struggles. You don't want your parents to choose your struggles. You have to choose your own struggles. Because by choosing your own struggles, you dictate what you gain. Right? If they choose your struggle, they dictate what you gain. Oh, Michael, you have a pay raise by 5 cents per hour now. Right? They choose your struggle. But if you choose your struggle, you choose your outcome. You choose what you gain. And so the most important thing for you to take away from this video is you need to choose your own struggle, and you need to start an online business. This is the last final demon that you have to battle in your male and self-improvement journey to have freedom in your life. And if you want to work with us and help you make $10,000 per month or more in the next 90 days, book a call with us below and see if you're a good fit.